Hey, what's up guys? It's Krishna here and welcome back to the channel. Yeah, Go Battle League has been down for the last few days, but I've got plenty of footage from the battles that I did record before Go Battle League went down. So I've got videos at least for the next few days. And if you're new to this channel, I upload PvP related content on a pretty regular basis. So if you're interested in this type of content, please hit that subscribe button. It does help quite a bit. So with that out of the way, let's just get straight into today's video, where I'm going to be showcasing a set of battles that I did featuring two of my most favorite Pokemon to use in Go Battle League, namely Swampert and Charizard. Now, I've made multiple videos on Swampert, just explaining why it's the best Pokemon probably in all of Pokemon Go PvP, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you agree with it as well. Swampert again is probably a part of every good Ultra League team, and it comes as no surprise just because it's just so OP, being able to spam out those charge moves so quickly, and because it's just a community day Pokemon, it's very accessible as well. It's not very expensive in terms of Stardust and candy investment. And then of course, to go along with it, I have Charizard. Now, who doesn't love Charizard, right? I mean, it's the OG badass fire type Pokemon, which has really gained popularity over time because of the rising number of steel types in the meta as well. And these two really, complement each other's weaknesses perfectly, right? Because Charizard provides great protection to Swampert's weakness to grass, and then Swampert provides great protection to Charizard's weakness to rock and electric type moves. So again, it's a pretty meta line that I'm going to be running. Obviously, I'm going to be running these two Pokemon along with Giratina Alter, which is very bulky and just kind of plays as the anchor role for this team. So again, a fairly meta line, but I've definitely got a very exciting set of battles lined up. So let's just get straight into the commentary. Okay, moving on to the first battle right here. I'm going to be leading with Charizard, with Giratina and Swampert at the back. So we have Charizard into Giratina. This is a pretty terrible matchup. So I'm just going to immediately switch into Giratina right here. And that's also a Dragon Breath variant, right? So, and they make a switch into Articuno. Now, Giratina is arguably one of the worst save switch options in Ultra League, simply because every team is going to have at least one, if not two hard counters for Giratina, right? As you can see, they have an Articuno. They decided to shield that up. They probably thought that was an ancient power, but gonna throw another Dragon Claw, gonna throw as many charge moves as possible before getting debuffed, and we get another shield. This is beautiful for me. So this is in spite of, being in a terrible matchup, getting two shields is absolutely huge. So I'm not going to shield because there's no way I can win this fight. Just going to try and chip away as much as possible and then come back with Charizard. That's my game plan here. Going to throw another Dragon Claw right here, and this is going to do very minimal damage. Like I said, just trying to go for some chip damage. This Articuno is going to commit to the farm down though, which is not ideal. But going to come back in with Charizard and soak the charge move. I'm assuming this is just going to be an Icy Wind, right? Yeah, just an Icy Wind, does a decent amount of damage. And at this point, even though we are debuffed, this Articuno is definitely in Blast Burn range. So gonna throw the Blast Burn here, and they make a really nice switch into Giratina to soak the charge move. This is a huge game-changing play right here, because as you can see, those Blast Burn, it was debuffed as well, and also on top of the fact that it was resisted, does almost nothing. A massive waste on energy right there. If I probably held back a little bit, I could have saved that energy. Again, not looking great at all, because this Dragon Breath Giratina has a great matchup against Swampert as well. And I'm gonna have to shield this, right? Because we are taking so much damage from Dragon Breath, I cannot really afford to take any additional damage from those Dragon Claws. So at this point, I'm just gonna go straight for the Earthquake. This Earthquake is gonna do a lot of damage to Giratina and hopefully put it into Mudshot farm down range, which is, yeah, this is definitely in Mudshot farm down range right now, and I'm hoping they don't get to another charge move, but they do. So this is really unfortunate right here. It's going to get my Swampert critically low, but I'm going to have a lot of loaded energy, and I'm really hoping that whatever is in the back is weak to Swampert. But he ends up being a Venusaur, and it's a Razor Leaf Venusaur as well. I just throw the Hydro Cannon right here just so I can get some time to switch out, because I would have been deleted instantly. So just gonna switch into Charizard, but unfortunately though, we have very minimal health and I don't even have a charge move. And even though these Razor Leaves are double resisted, it still does so much damage because it's so oppressive, right? Razor Leaf is such a good move. And if I had that Blast Burn on my Charizard, if I hadn't thrown it on the Giratina, I would have had it to, just potentially get rid of this Venusaur, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be, and Swampert is just, the Swampert has no chance against a Razor Leaf. So, yeah, a pretty tough loss right there. I think that's really good play by my opponent. If I've probably been a little more wary of that, if I hadn't thrown the Blast Burn onto the Giratina, I probably could have won that. So very favorable lead here. Charizard into Torterra. You don't see too many Torterras in Ultra League simply because it still has Stone Edge, so I don't have to be wary of that. They make a switch into Charizard, so I'm going to be switching immediately into Swampert right here. Now, typically when people switch their Charizard into my Charizard, I like to go into Giratina, just because I like to save Swampert to potentially close out games. Swampert is a lot more reliable when it comes to closing out games, but in this particular scenario, I switch into Swampert because I want to avoid the Torterra matchup. And obviously, this is such a positive matchup for Swampert. And then shielding a Hydro Cannon could be absolutely disastrous because I can get to the next one before they can get off another charge move. So they decided to let it go through, which is the perfect situation for me. They ended up burning a shield and lost switch advantage right there. I'm expecting the Torterra to come back in and instantly delete the Swampert, which is absolutely fine because I can come back in with Charizard. And I'm going to throw the Blast Burn right away here, right? Just going to throw the Blast Burn right away before they can even switch out. And let's see if they decide to put up a shield here. They decided to let it go through. This is pretty much going to one-shot it, as you can see, and then they have an Articuno on the back. It's pretty much GG. So they decided to give up the match right there. Yeah, I mean, Charizard with 2 shields against Articuno, it's a very positive matchup. So moving on to the third battle right here. We have Charizard into Obstacle. This is a pretty neutral matchup actually because those counters are resisted, but Night Slash is going to be hitting for neutral. And also, they're going to be able to outpace us to the charge moves, right? So at this point, I'm not going to shield the first one, just in case they get the boost. I might have to shield the subsequent Night Slashes. So first Night Slash coming through, and they get the boost. This is absolutely terrible. So I'm going to build up to a Blast Burn and throw the Dragon Claw because they get the boost. They'll be inclined to shield. So I'm just going to try and bait out a shield right here. And yeah, they give up the shield. This is beautiful for me. So I'm just going to go straight for the Blast Burn this time. Definitely going to shield this because this boosted Night Slash would definitely take out my Charizard from this range. I'm hoping that I can get to a Blast Burn before they are able to get off another Night Slash. We face a little bit of lag right here, but luckily I'm able to get to the Blast Burn just in time. And this should almost come close to taking the Obstagoon out. So if it goes unshielded, as it does. But unfortunately, they're able to get off a last second charge move, and I can't afford to shield this. I have to save at least 1 shield for Swampert in the back. So at this point, I'm going to come in with Swampert and farm down, right? Because it's not really possible to farm down an Obstagoon with Shadow Claw because it's triple resisted and they might get to another charge move. So just gonna farm it down with Mud Shot right here, and let's see what they have in the back. So they have a Giratina. So this is not a great situation. Also, it's a Dragon Breath variant. So I'm just gonna build up a little bit of extra energy and then switch into my own Giratina to catch the charge move. Yeah, I mean, basically, I just wanted to build up some extra energy on Swampert because it can be so devastating towards endgame as well. So this is again not a great matchup because Dragon Breath is doing quite a bit of damage to my Giratina. Even though we're also dealing super effective with Shadow Claw, Dragon Breath is just so oppressive and obviously does a lot more damage. Typically in most Giratina mirrors, I just don't like shielding at all because even though it does super effective damage, it just doesn't do that much, and I typically always like saving shields for endgame, and luckily we're able to get off a last second Dragon Claw. This is huge because this is going to pressure their shield or come close to taking their Giratina out. And they decided to give up the final shield. This is absolutely perfect for me because I know I have some loaded energy on Swampert. So I'm just going to go straight for the Earthquake before they get off a charge move, and Swampert obviously wins CMP against Giratina. And this Earthquake should definitely finish off the Giratina, and let's see what he has in the back. So he has an Empoleon in the back. This is absolutely perfect for me because I can just go straight for Earthquake. This is pretty much going to one-shot this Empoleon right here. Even if he had gotten off a Hydro Cannon, I could have shielded it, but Swampert can get to an Earthquake quicker than Empoleon can get to a Hydro Cannon, right? As you can see, Earthquake pretty much one-shots it, and then Swampert coming through once again to finish off endgame like it always does. It's just so good. It's just so good and reliable when it comes to closing out games, which is why I always like to store some energy on it and then save it for the very end. Moving on to the fourth battle right here. I'm going to be sticking to the same team throughout the course of these battles, which sometimes I change it up, but sometimes, I mean, in this particular scenario, I'm just going to definitely stick to the same team. And I have Charizard on the lead against an opposing Charizard. So this is actually not bad for me because my Charizard has 15 attack. So I'm just going to go straight for the Blast Burn because it's going to do the most damage. There's no point really baiting in this matchup. Just going to go straight for the Blast Burn and try and switch out into Giratina to hopefully catch the charge move. That's my plan here. Because apparently with the new update or whatever, you can actually switch out of SVMP, which I don't really like too much, to be honest. But it's fine. I think if you can, I'll probably do it. But you know, they throw the Dragon Claw, unfortunately. I was hoping that they would throw the Blast Burn and waste some energy. But they bring in the Glaceon. Glaceon is a very interesting pick in Ultra League. It's not very common, but it's definitely got some play, right? It's got very good moveset with Icy Wind and Avalanche. So obviously not going to shield this. It's probably going to be an Icy Wind. It's definitely going to take us out. But because I can just come back in with Charizard and hopefully completely farm this thing down, that's my plan here. So let's see. Yeah, I'm just going to come back in with Charizard and completely farm this Glaceon down. Hopefully they don't get to a charge move, but unfortunately they're able to get off a last second charge move. I'm really hoping this is Icy Wind. I'm hoping, please don't be Avalanche, but it ends up being Avalanche, right? That's just pretty much one-shots my Charizard, wasted so much energy right there. Now it's just all up to Swampert, right? It's just all up to Swampert against two Pokemon. Although we do have the shield advantage, it's still going to be kind of tricky. They bring in Charizard. Now, this is really surprising because it's surprising to see people bring a Charizard into a Swampert. They probably misclicked right there. I'm assuming that's what happened because, you probably would have... They have their own Swampert in the back as well. So they probably definitely would have wanted to bring their own Swampert in. They probably misclicked that because I assume they had something even weaker than a Charizard in the back to Swampert. But this is a pretty positive matchup at this point because where I have the energy and the shield advantage. So I can just safely shield this up and win this fight right here. And also because my Swampert also has 15 attack, I'm going to be able to win CMP in most scenarios, which means that there's no way the Swampert is going to be able to beat me, right? So just going to throw another Hydro Cannon right here, gets the final shield. So it's just all about getting to the next charge move. Another Hydro Cannon coming through, definitely going to shield this. Probably can get by even without shielding it, but just in case it's an Earthquake, it can probably take us out from this range. So at this point, I'm just going to go throw the Hydro Cannon. This should definitely finish off the Swampert right there. So actually that was... Yeah, I mean, actually, it was pretty tricky. I think if he had brought in his Swampert instead and then probably sacked the Charizard on the charge move, that probably might have made a difference for him. But, these misclicks probably, I'm assuming that's what happened, right? I mean, because it's definitely happened to me. So it's definitely not a great situation to be in. But I think that was definitely a play for him, right? Bring in Swampert and then sack the Charizard and then bring back Swampert so that you already built up on quite a bit of energy to get the energy advantage on my Swampert. So... we have Charizard into Swampert. This is the worst possible lead for a Charizard. So immediately going to switch into Giratina. This is not ideal again because like I always say, Giratina is just definitely not a safe switch option as you can see. Out comes Togekiss and it's not looking great already because there's no way I can win switch advantage, which is absolutely going to be critical for me to win this matchup because I have to avoid the Swampert, right? I can't let my Charizard go up against Swampert. So at this point, I'm definitely going to lose switch advantage. So I'm just basically relying on my Swampert to take out his Swampert and then whatever Pokemon he has in the back. So yeah, just going to chip away at this Togekiss with as many Shadow Sneaks as possible, hoping to get to a last second Dragon Claw right here. This should actually pressure the shield from Togekiss, right? Even though it's double resisted, it probably would take it out from this range. Luckily, we get a shield. That is huge. Getting the shield right there is absolutely huge because at least we have a shield advantage right now. I'm going to bring back Charizard because Swampert has such a... I want to save my Swampert for his own Swampert. This is probably not a great move because I'm not going to shield this as well because I'm not really valuing Charizard at this point because I know they have a Swampert in the back. So Ancient Power did so much damage. Going to immediately switch into Swampert and I'm going to have to shield this because Hydro Cannon would do quite a bit of damage. I'm going to have to, like I said, just... save as much health as possible on Swampert, and I'm expecting a switch out right here, but they don't switch out yet, so I'm going to throw the Hydro Cannon right away. So this is actually really surprising for me. So what this tells me is they probably have something in the back which is weak to Swampert, because if they had the switch advantage, they probably would have switched out right away, and they would want to save their Swampert for my Charizard. So I'm definitely going to shield this because, like I said, they fully expecting something in the back to be weak to Swampert. So going to throw another Hydro Cannon right here. Let's see if this gets the final shield. It does get the final shield. This is almost absolutely now you can almost be absolutely sure that they have something in the back which is weak to Swampert. So another Hydro Cannon coming through is going to get us into the yellow. So at this point it's basically a race, right? It's a race to the charge move. They make a switch into Heatran. This is absolutely beautiful for me because Swampert is the hardest counter to Heatran in the game, being able to resist all of its moves. It resists Iron Head, Stone Edge, and Flamethrower. Gonna go for the Earthquake because Hydro Cannon would not necessarily one-shot it. So at this point, I'm just gonna sack my Charizard right here. I know that Swampert had quite a bit of energy. It had loaded up on energy and switched out. So I built up on a little bit of energy on my Swampert and sacked my Charizard right here so I can just get to a Hydro Cannon before they can get off their Hydro Cannon. And this should definitely finish off the Swampert. So... once again, I think this was the 4th game in a row again where Swampert basically finished off the game, and that's going to be GG's. So I believe this is a 4-1 set right here. Yeah, it's a 4-1 set. Yeah, so that was a 4-1 set. So, I mean, this is actually a pretty good team to run. You know, I think one of the biggest downsides of this team, though, is obviously there are a couple of weaknesses to it. The foremost of which is the fact that Giratina is definitely not a safe switch option because there are so many hard counters to Giratina in the game, which is why I think Cresselia would work better instead of Giratina in this matchup, because Cresselia has also got incredible amount of bulk and also performs much better as a safe switch option because there aren't too many hard counters to Cresselia, right? They might probably have a Registeel, but even Registeel is not going to be able to do super effective damage against Cresselia. And if you can land the attack debuffs, you can still stall out the clock to potentially switch out that matchup. So Cresselia also with access to Moonblast and Grass Knot, being able to, you know, deal super effective damage against both Giratina and Swampert is definitely probably an option worth considering. And of course, this team is also going to be weak to, you know, Giratina itself, right? But because, I mean, that's one of the reasons why you don't see these multiple starter teams in Ultra League, simply because of that Giratina factor. Giratina does so well against most of the starters, especially the Dragon Breath variant, because it just does so much damage, right? Because both Charizard and Swampert aren't exactly very tanky Pokemon. They just take so much damage from Dragon Breaths, which is why I think having both of them in the same team could be a little bit of an issue, especially dealing with the Giratina, right? So that's actually one of the downsides of it, but I think these two Pokemon are really good, really fun to run, really exciting, super cool Pokemon to use as well. And you know, may not always work together in the best possible way, but definitely they've got some great play together as well. So yeah, I'd like to call this combination the Dynamic Duo of Pokemon Go PvP, simply because I love these two so much. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and also do subscribe to this channel. And like I said, I've still got a lot more battles that I've recorded and I still haven't posted yet. So I think this sort of break in GBL is actually really giving me a little bit of time to catch up on all of that and edit all of that and put it out, because I'm slightly behind on, you know, the battles that I do and the day that I upload them. Probably sort of 3 or 4 days behind. So hopefully these next couple of days will give me some time to catch up on that. And hopefully GBL comes back soon as well. That's what we all want, right? So that we can get back to doing some more of those awesome battles. But yeah, please stay tuned. I'll probably be bringing more exciting videos in the coming few days. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.